And we take a look at our tail of the tape. Olanrewaju, Durodola. We talked about his big knockout power. He's the older fighter and the taller fighter, and he has a big reach advantage over Thabiso Mchunu. But Mchunu was so impressive in his U.S. debut. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the ref could stop the fight. Fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. And the fight is official after 4 rounds. Let's go to ring announcer Joe Antonacci with the official introduction.
Boxing fans, here we go. Main Events Pelts Boxing, Show Pony Promotions, and DeBella Entertainment present 10 rounds of action for the NABF Cruiserweight Championship. Our championship judges, Deborah Barnes, John Stewart, and Hilton Whitaker, and our championship referee, David Fields. Introducing first, he's fighting out of the blue corner. He comes to us tonight from Lagos, Nigeria. He weighed in at 199.5 pounds. Green trunks with white trim. Professional record, an excellent 15 victories, only 1 defeat. 14 of his 15 wins coming by knockout. Please welcome Olanrewaju Durodola. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. He comes to us tonight from Natal, South Africa. He weighed in at 198.5 pounds. Silver trunks, red trim. Professional record, also an excellent one. 13 victories, 1 defeat, and 9 wins by knockout. Please welcome Thabiso, the Rock Mchunu. Our NABF supervisor in charge is Mike George. Right now, our referee, David Fields, has our fighters' final instructions.
Okay, gentlemen, schedule to box 10 rounds for the NABF Championship. I've gone over the rules in the dressing room. I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Most of all, protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
10 rounds. NABF Cruiserweight Championship.
It is scheduled for 10. Durodola has won 6 in a row, all by way of knockout. Of his 14 KOs, 10 have come in the first round. That's why he averages less than 2 rounds in his professional career. Mchunu, meanwhile, he also has on a hot streak. He has won 4 in a row. Of his 9 KOs, 4 have come in the first round. It's underway. NABF Cruiserweight title scheduled for 10 rounds.
In this fight, Kenny, very interesting. You got number 9 world-rated Durodola against number 4 world-rated Thabiso Mchunu. Mchunu is a tremendous counter-puncher, very quick-handed. Durodola has very heavy hands. I'm just really excited about this fight.
Mchunu, you see the southpaw, second straight time that Durodola has fought a left-hander. We asked him about it at the fighter meeting yesterday. He said it doesn't really matter. He knows this guy's tough.
And you saw Thabiso Mchunu immediately land that left hand. He slipped outside the right hand of Durodola and landed that nice left hand. Again, he did it right there. We talked about that in the in-ring strategy, and you know, he's going to it right at the beginning of the first round. And
Mchunu out in the middle of the ring much more than he was already in his fight against Eddie Chambers on August 3rd, you saw here on Fight Night, when he dictated the pace by making Chambers basically come to him, and the veteran fighter was befuddled throughout.
Yeah, he was, and you know, Thabiso Mchunu really showed the American public and everybody, the world, seeing that he's arrived as a cruiserweight contender. He's a very serious fighter, and in the early parts of this first round, we see more good stuff from Mchunu. Very quick hands, great reflexes for a guy as big as him.
That was the U.S. debut for Mchunu. Went back to South Africa to train, came back to the U.S. a little over 2 weeks ago to get acclimated again to the time change and ready for this fight against Durodola.
And you see Mchunu's the smaller guy, but he's very content on just sitting on the outside and kind of pot-shotting Durodola. Durodola told us in the fighter meetings yesterday, hey, I'm a taller guy, got the reach, I'm going to stay outside and outbox him. But with a guy like Mchunu, sometimes that can be very difficult because he is such a sharp shooter, Kenny. You see Durodola is the guy with 16 knockouts. A little discrepancy on how many knockouts he has. Boxrec has him at 16. We've reported that he's got 14, but either way, he's a very big puncher, and you know, he's not really coming forward too fast against Thabiso in this first round, Kenny.
And Durodola has not fought against the caliber of a Mchunu. But again, it could be like some basketball teams young in the season, BJ. They're beating teams they're supposed to, but nonetheless, they're beating them and by big margins. So it's a big test to find out a lot about Durodola tonight, the man from Nigeria who now resides in Kansas City, Kansas.
Yeah, and he's been very impressive in his road up so far. He's got one setback. It happens in a lot of young fighters' careers, but, you know, this is a great opportunity and a great platform for both guys to say, hey, listen, I'm the next guy to challenge WBC champion Krzysztof Wlodarczyk, and, you know, both guys have come in great shape and obviously taking this fight very seriously.
Mchunu, after that win over Chambers, that dominating performance, moved into the top 15 of all the major rankings. High as number 4, as BJ mentioned, on WBC.
Look at the right foot of Mchunu. On the outside, stepping on the foot of Durodola. Both guys are on each other's feet. That's an old trick that fighters are used to keep the guy in place where they're trying to punch.
Jammed right in the corner in front of us. Round 1 comes to an end. Welcome back. Judging criteria: clean punching, effective aggressiveness, ring generalship, and defense. That's what the 3 judges ringside are looking for. We start round 2. Durodola in the green, in the white, Mchunu. Happy to have with us, as always, the esteemed Larry Hazzard, who will score this fight unofficially for us in a very close first round. Larry gives it to Mchunu, 10-9. Let's check in now with Chris Mannix.
Guys, Durodola is in the ring tonight with Mchunu, but back in Nigeria, he has experienced much more dangerous situations. Durodola was a police officer for several years in Lagos.
That was a slip, by the way. A slip? No, it's a knockdown. A knockdown.
6.
He takes the count.
7. 8.
And you know, Thabiso Mchunu is such a sharpshooter. He didn't even see that punch. Durodola came in with the right hand of the body. Mchunu stepped back, shot a quick right hook and a left hand, caught him on the side of the head. Their feet might have tangled up, but a punch also landed, Kenny.
A quick punch. A knockdown here in the second round. And we go again to Chris to continue with the story of Durodola.
Well, as I was saying, guys, Durodola was a police officer for several years in Lagos, where he said he was involved in multiple shootings and worked to reduce the drug and violence problems that plague the area. Durodola has lived in the U.S. since 2011, but says that he plans to return to police work in Nigeria someday, and he hopes to one day become Inspector General, the highest position in the Nigerian police force.
All right, thank you, Chris. Trying to fight his way out of a corner now is Durodola, and Mchunu with a knockdown already in this round. Very aggressive.
And to me, the surprising thing about Mchunu is, you know, the balance he maintains after he shoots his punch. He's so low to the ground. He's got that low center of gravity. He's able to punch and stay right back to center and be right back on balance and position to counter perfectly. And, you know, Durodola's a little surprised, Kenny, to be honest with you. He wasn't expecting this.
Durodola, the taller fighter, is pretty obvious there in the green trunks, and he has about a 5-inch reach advantage.
And that's the left hand we talked about in the in-ring strategy. He's sliding back from the right hand of Durodola, and he's landing that left hand over and over again. Durodola has to make an adjustment. And one thing that he can do to not get caught is he can work. He can work to his left or to Mchunu's right side to be able to stay away from that left hand, because so far it's 100% on the money. Those are big shots from Mchunu.
Yeah, and Durodola, remember yesterday he was telling us, BJ, yeah, I'm fighting a southpaw again. I fought a left-hander last time. I really don't worry about that. But it gives him some concern here, doesn't it? You see, Durodola has thrown the most punches, but Mchunu with the biggest punch, the one that put Durodola on the canvas.
Well, not only the one that put him on the canvas, he hit him maybe 2 or 3 other times that have stunned him and, you know, dazed him a little bit. Durodola is very tough. He's still continuing to come, but definitely not the first, not the way he wanted the first 2 rounds to start. And it's just a tough situation. Durodola needs to start working his jab. He tries to come in and land that right hand on the body, but he just keeps getting caught with that check right hook. And, you know, Mchunu's just, he's looking sharp tonight. So it's, Durodola's very confused at this point in the fight.
Very strong start for Mchunu.
And looking at the replay of the knockdown in the second round, you see Mchunu, his lead foot is actually on the left foot of Durodola. He leans back, shoots a left hand to the chest, and Durodola didn't have anywhere to go because Mchunu was on his lead foot.
It was a good punch by Mchunu, and I think Durodola might have gotten tripped up just a little bit. A knockdown nonetheless in that last round. A round in which Larry Hazzard scored it 10-8 for Mchunu, giving him both the rounds as we go to round 3.
Something very interesting. You see Durodola going to southpaw as well. Obviously, what he was doing the first 2 rounds, he wasn't comfortable with that. You now see him in the southpaw stance, looking to confuse Mchunu.
Durodola, he's got that powerful right hand with all the knockouts. Now he's going back to conventional stance.
You see him very tentative, though, still, Kenny. He's not trying to go in. He's not trying to commit. The reason for that is that lead left hand and that counter left hand of Thabiso Mchunu. You see Mchunu sliding in and out, back and forth, looking to land the left hand. Nice shot by Durodola there.
Let's check in Mchunu's corner with Chris.
Sean, what are you seeing out of Thabiso right now?
I like the way he's using the ring. It's a little bit slow, the guys, but he's doing good. Putting combinations together, like what he's doing.
You got a lot of experience, obviously, facing taller fighters. How aggressive do you want to see him be against the taller fighter?
Listen, he doesn't need to be silly. He's doing a good job. He's winning the rounds. Let him go. I think he's going to work it out. Hopefully, he lands the guy with a few clean shots. Do the business.
Thanks, Sean.
Sean Smith, very confident. We talked to him earlier today. Has a lot of faith in his fighter, Mchunu. They have history together.
All right, break, let him go. Come on.
Very close situation with a manager and a friend as well.
Very close situation, and Sean's been with Mchunu for a long time. Obviously, he cares about him a lot, but he said it perfectly. He goes, he doesn't have to do anything crazy. He's winning the rounds, and not only is he winning the rounds, he's hurting Durodola. His punches are affecting him, and I think unless Durodola makes some adjustments, then this fight won't go the distance. You see Durodola trying to lunge in a little bit. He's trying to find him, Mchunu. He's trying to find him. It looks like he's right there, but it's a little tougher than it seems with Mchunu's hand speed and his feet sliding in and out.
As we heard, Mchunu, this is nothing new for him. Almost everyone he fights is taller than he is.
Right, he's used to that. And, Durodola said, hey, I got the reach. I'm going to use that reach. And he was trying to go to the body with the right hand early, but he was leaving that punch out there naked. And Mchunu was countering with the left hand. But he's done a little better in this 3rd round, switching back and forth and, confusing Mchunu a little bit.
A better round for Durodola. As round 3 in this scheduled 10-rounder is nearing an end for the NABF Cruiserweight title. The 3rd was the most active round for Durodola. He threw 54 punches. The bad news there, he landed only 7 of those, a 13% clip. As we begin the 4th round, this scheduled 10-rounder, NABF Cruiserweight title. Thabiso Mchunu, who had a knockdown already in the white trunks. We look at Larry's scoring, and once again, last round goes to Mchunu, 10-9. And he had that 10-8 round, of course, in the 2nd with the knockdown. And right now, Mchunu looking very confident out there in the middle of the ring, BJ.
Yeah, he's relaxed, he's poised, he's, Durodola's the one who's got to make the adjustment. What Mchunu's doing so far is working, and it's just a chess match right now, and so far it's in Thabiso Mchunu's advantage. More contact with the front foot. If you watch here at home, you can't see the, there you go, you actually see the feet. The front feet are touching a lot of Mchunu and Durodola. It's making it difficult for Durodola because Mchunu's stepping on that lead foot, and he's planting him there to land that left hand, and it's just a trick the southpaws have used for years.
Flips out the jab. There's Mchunu.
You see normally against the southpaw, when you're a southpaw fighting an orthodox guy,
Durodola moves it hard on the corner. Mchunu gets away.
And it's just surprising, Kenny, to see cruiserweights with the type of reflexes and counter ability that Mchunu has, and he's got very fast hands. It might look easy on the outside. Hey, pressure him, get in his face, but it's a lot different when you get in that ring.
His quickness, and he's almost daring you to come at him, isn't he? The way he lowers that shoulder.
And we see his weight on his back foot. He's always ready to commit and counter whenever you lead in, without the right types of precaution. And Durodola's finding that out. But Durodola's putting up a good effort. He's trying. He's walking forward. He believes he can still win this fight. He's a big puncher. He's going to try to land a big shot and change the momentum of the fight. Because so far it's 3 rounds to 0 for Thabiso.
All right, come on, man. Let him go. All right, come on, stop.
And what Durodola needs to do right here, he needs to use his jab. He needs to work to his left side. He needs to not necessarily shoot the double jab and the right hand of the body every single time, because Thabiso is caught onto that type of rhythm. he needs to mix up his punch selection and see if he can do something to confuse Thabiso.
Durodola with a good right.
Big right hook by Thabiso there again. And Durodola's loading up a little bit with that swinging, kind of clubbing right hand, and Thabiso's just dropping under it. Durodola would be wise to drop that shot to the body instead of always looking for the head on that. You'll always make contact with the body or the arms or the elbows, the head, more of a 50-50.
Final seconds, round 4. Durodola looking better. Mchunu still making it his fight.
In round 4, we see a good example of lead uppercut, the left hand miss, then you see a nice third punch right hook land by Mchunu. That's why you're told as a young boxer to always punch in combinations, 3s and 4s.
And we're back to live action, round 5. Olanrewaju, Durodola in the green. Thabiso, Mchunu in the white with the red.
Kenny, this is the point in the fight where Durodola really needs to switch up his game plan. So far, I got it 4 rounds to 0. But he's getting closer to Mchunu. He's getting a little closer. He's touching him a little more. Get in there, rough him up a little bit. You know, see if he can wear him down and land some big shots down the stretch because, you know, standing in the middle of the ring, it hasn't been effective so far.
And our own Larry Hazard has every round going to Mchunu as well. Let's check in again with Chris.
Steve, a lot of chatter between you guys after that last round. What were you talking about?
Well, we tell him that he's got to pick it up a little bit. We were behind because that first round knockdown. He's going to shake off the butterflies. He's doing it right now. We need to start picking up with the jab and start working the body and start throwing some combinations.
He's got a good height advantage here. Why has he not been able to take advantage of it?
Because the guy's smart. He's just countering us. That's all he's doing. He's waiting for us to throw a punch. He's countering because Olan went to his fighting techniques. I want him to go back to boxing. You can see right now that he's boxing.
Thanks, Steve.
These punches are hurting him, Kenny. You see him miss again. He hit him with a nice right hook. Every time he comes in, I'm telling you, he's like a sharpshooter. He's one of those guys sitting on the top of the tower waiting for you to come in to pick you off. And, you know, it might be a little boring at times, but whenever Durodola tries to rush in, he's been hurt 4 or 5 times tonight already.
Well, we heard Steve tell Chris about the counter-punching power of Mchunu. We saw it in that sequence.
And you're not sure if it's going to come from the left hand or if it's going to come from the right hook. A lot of when Durodola will shoot that right hand and he misses it, Mchunu, there he goes again with that nice counter shot. He'll hit you with the left hand. When you try to push in with the double jab, he'll hit you with that check left, that check right hook. Very effective on the top of the head or on the chin, and it's just, you know, he shoots it from an angle where it's very hard to defend.
If Durodola misses, Mchunu has been making him pay.
All right, watch your head inside. Come on, man, let him go. Let him go.
Durodola is physically strong. This is where he can have an advantage over Mchunu. He can try to push him around, the smaller guy. He can try to, you know, use his forearms, maybe make the fight a little rough to take away some of the physical advantages that Mchunu has, and speed and reflexes. Right there, he needs to not stand right in front of Mchunu. Maybe stick a jab out. Maybe jab the arm. Mchunu's arm is straight down. You don't want to aim for his head. Maybe start looking at the pit of his stomach. Jab that lead shoulder. Anything to make contact.
Mchunu always having an answer here in round 5.
Nice counter right hook.
We're nearing the halfway point in this NAPF cruiserweight title fight. And you can hashtag Fight Night to get in on the live tweeting. And Fernando Vargas says taller doesn't mean more powerful. Mchunu landing some big shots. Fernando is exactly right as we start round 6. This one's scheduled for 10. Mchunu is in the white trunks. We see the unofficial scoring from Larry Hazard once again. That round going to Mchunu, who is now building up a good-sized deficit here as we move into the second half of this fight.
Yeah, he is, and I remember a lot of Fernando Vargas fights where he was the shorter guy, and he was definitely the more powerful guy. I remember when he fought Ray Joval. I remember when he fought a couple different guys that, you know, he was always a stronger fighter than those taller guys, and obviously a great champion, Fernando Vargas.
And as we've seen, BJ, you've talked about it, if Durodola misses, Mchunu makes him pay. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit almost every time when he gets inside.
Yeah, he does. And, you know, the reason he probably hasn't made him pay more is because, look at Durodola. He should be trying to press the fight, get inside, do something, but he's been a little tentative. He's not sure where to pick his spots at because Mchunu's not giving him a lot to take advantage of. So it's causing him to stand outside, be hesitant, and when he does rush in, he's paid a heavy price, Kenny.
Let's check in again with Chris.
Guys, a lot of back and forth in Durodola's corner the last 2 rounds. Trainer Steve Earle's begging Durodola to go back to the jab. Durodola seemingly disagreeing with him. BJ, you're the fighter. What does it say there when it's that type of disagreement?
You know, you always want to try to listen to your trainer, but you got to remember, Durodola's the one in the ring. He's trying to jab. He's trying to push that out there, but he's seeing the counter left hand of Thabiso Mchunu is catching him off that slow and pushing jab. So he's got to mix it up. He's got to jab up and down. He's got to feint it and taunt it so Thabiso can't get the timing on that jab every time.
And for anyone that thought that maybe that was just a flash showing from Mchunu against Eddie Chambers back on August 3rd, we're seeing another fighter with some experience, and of course not comparing him to the experience level of Chambers, but that also might be going on the corner between Steve and Durodola. They're all trying to figure out Mchunu because he has an interesting style that can throw you off balance, it appears, BJ.
Yeah, he reminds me of, you know, like the nickname of Adrian Broner is a problem because guys in the cruiserweight division aren't used to dealing with counter punchers like Mchunu, shorter guys like Mchunu with the physical strength. So he's got some very good, you know, offensive gifts, and the reflexes and timing make him dangerous to anybody.
Mchunu moving up to number 4 in the WBC, and then moved to number 8 in the WBO, number 10 in the IBF, and number 15 in the WBA after that Chambers victory.
Yeah, he opened a lot of eyes with that victory, Kenny. And, you know, so far he's up 5 rounds to 0. He's controlling the fight. His nature tells him to stay on the outside and box, continue to do what he's doing. He's not trying to get the guy out of there. He's still landing big shots, but he's not trying to, you know, really go on the attack and force the knockout.
No opponent has ever made it past the 6th round with Durodola. Until now, Mchunu has done it as we go to the 7th. As we start the 7th round, the man in the white with the red, Thabiso Mchunu, in control, and he is the first fighter to ever go past 6 rounds with Durodola. And Olanrewaju and his trainer, Steve, they're talking between rounds, and it looks like a tired fighter. Let's check in with Chris.
Guys, a very enthusiastic corner from Mchunu's side. They're looking for him to step up the pressure a little bit. I think they would like him to see if he can score a knockout.
Thanks, Chris. And Olanrewaju Durodola comes into his fights in great shape. He took this fight on short notice, on 3 weeks' notice, but he said he had no worries, that he's always in shape. But he looked tired, didn't he, between these last rounds?
You know what, Kenny? I'm going to tell you this. It's not that he's tired. He's frustrated. He doesn't know what to do, and what he's done so far isn't working. So he's really not too fatigued. Yeah, he's been hurt a couple times, but it's not that he's exhausted and he can't shoot the punches. He just doesn't know what to do out there, and it's a tricky puzzle to try and solve.
You see Larry also scoring that round for Mchunu. It's been that way all the way around. He had that knockdown in round 2 for the 10-8 score. And power punches through 6. Durodola has landed some, but Mchunu has had a counter every time. Almost every time, at least.
Yeah, he has. And Durodola landed a good right hand a second ago. Kind of stuck his arms out in celebration to landing a punch, and you know, we'll see how Thabiso responds after a good punch.
Yeah, more fighters may feel that way if they can just get something in on Mchunu. They may be happy.
A celebration into midway through the 7th round for landing the right hand.
When you're down, you probably figure unofficially, and maybe all the way around, down all 6 rounds and still celebrating.
Yeah. And Durodola just needs to let his hands go. He needs to work up and down. He needs to stay out of range of the left hand of Mchunu. He can do that by working to his own left side. And when he's standing in front of Mchunu and trying to pot shot him, it's just never going to work.
Durodola probably feeling what we saw Eddie Chambers feel, and everybody else, almost everybody else that's faced Mchunu. You see the total punches thrown. Durodola has been active. He just hasn't been able to land any big punches, or at least punches enough that would come close to hurting Mchunu.
And what you do in a situation like this, jab the shoulder, jab the lead arm of Mchunu. Do anything to make contact. Jab his body, jab his shoulder, jab his arm, touch him, and then try to set up other shots, because you know, the loading up isn't working so far.
Well, the fact that he's a shorter guy, Mchunu, on just about everybody that he's fighting, you would think that Durodola would be able to wade in easier with that reach. We heard Chris talking about it in the corner earlier. But it isn't that way because he's so dangerous with his punches.
He slides out with his feet and he neglects any reach that Durodola might have. But, you know, just the pressure Durodola's been putting on this round is better than the other rounds. He's had a better round, and we'll see what happens in the last two.
It's a solid round for Durodola, but he needs a lot more than that against Mchunu. Let's listen into his corner.
Come on.
Yeah, they're hoping Durodola can wake up. Mchunu still in control in this title fight.
Fight this guy. Make it a rough fight. All he wants.
Come on, boy, you're doing well.
NABF cruiserweight title on the line. That man, Thabiso Mchunu, in control. It has been a very strong outing for him throughout this fight, including a knockdown back in the second round. According to CompuBox, in the total punches, Mchunu making judicious use of his 10 of 19, 53%. Durodola throwing more punches in that last round, 31, but connecting on only 6 for a 19% clip.
Yeah, maybe he didn't land as much, but he still made the appearance that he was trying to work. He was getting in closer, and Mchunu wasn't quite as busy as he was in other rounds. So, you know, that could be a round where it could probably go either way based on the inactivity of Mchunu.
Olanrewaju Durodola in the green. He's 33 years old, was on the Olympic team in Nigeria. He has been a pro less than 3 years.
He doesn't have a lot of professional experience, but he had that amateur pedigree, and he also defeated Nigerian heavyweight Latif Coyote 3 different times in the amateurs. So obviously he's got a very solid amateur career. He's very good. Latif Coyote is a very good heavyweight, you know, former cruiserweight, heavyweight now. So he's got that type of experience under his belt.
Mchunu again countering. Mchunu with over 200 amateur fights in his career. A career that began actually with, a little wink and nod looking the other way. They forged his birth certificate. He was 11 years old. He fight in this tournament. So they moved him back a year so he could fight in it. At 11, he was winning 12-year-old tournaments, eventually going to international amateur competition.
And that's helped him to get in situations like this where he can, you know, be a very successful professional. He's doing a good job in this fight. And you see Mchunu on a series against the ropes a second ago. He was trying to push Durodola back, change the tempo of the fight a little bit, landed a couple good shots, and it's now Durodola coming forward again. Well, these are both two very strong physical cruiserweights. You see both guys pushing in there. Mchunu's very strong. Durodola is obviously in great shape. Very physical guys, but Mchunu's probably shown he's a harder puncher. And this is the area in the later rounds of the fight. Rounds 8, 9, 10, these championship rounds, when it's only a 10-round fight, where Durodola can really take advantage of that long left jab. Maybe The Rock, maybe Mchunu's maybe a little more tired than he was in the beginning. Take advantage of that, touches on shoulder, touches head with the jab, and look to set up other shots.
Durodola, you see the jabs thrown compared to Mchunu.
He shot way more, and Mchunu's game plan wasn't necessarily to jab. He's looking to counter the jab. And you know, Durodola was trying to use the jab to measure the right hand to set that up. And you know, Mchunu's been countering it a lot, and it's been an ineffective game plan so far.
Durodola's not followed up on a lot of those jabs because of that either.
No, he hasn't. But he did better in the last round. He's doing better in this round. He's finding Mchunu better. Mchunu probably landed the harder shots, but Durodola's done better in the last couple rounds.
NABF cruiserweight title, round 8 comes to an end. Durodola, he is behind on points, we feel, against Thabiso Mchunu. We could hear his corner tell him, double up some on those jabs. Got to wake up, got to really be aggressive and let it all out. There's 2 rounds to go here in this NABF cruiserweight title. And that man, Mchunu, has been in control of this fight most of the way, including a knockdown back in round 2 as we begin the 9th round. Mchunu in the white.
Yeah, he has, and on my scorecard, you know, Durodola needs a knockout to be able to win this fight. He gave away rounds, went down in the second round, so it's going to be tough for him to win a decision. But if he can left hand by Mchunu right on the chin, he can make some contact with Mchunu, start there.
Larry scoring that last two rounds now for Durodola. As we look in, Fernando Vargas was tweeting. You can at #FightNight as well. There you see our unofficial scoring. Durodola winning the last two rounds, the only rounds unofficially that he has in this fight.
See Durodola trying to be physical right there, trying to push him back. That's do at this point in the fight. You know, he's only got this round and 1 round left. Not saying be a dirty fighter, but he's got to do something to change it up a little bit to try to land a big shot and get Mchunu out of there.
Well, Mchunu can control the tempo. We saw it against Chambers. We're seeing it again tonight.
Beautiful timing right there.
Nice timing.
See Mchunu kind of plant that back left foot, shoot the left hand, shoot the right hook. He was very effective on both of those punches and then immediately clinched and back to the center of the ring.
Let's check in with Chris.
Steve, you told your guy to wake up after that last round. What do you want to see from these final two?
Start throwing some more punches and listen to get this thing into fight now. Boxing's out the window. I need him to start fighting. We're down to the last few rounds.
Why has Mchunu been so difficult for your guy to solve?
He's short. He's doing a lot of dipping and the countering. You know, he got him off his game a little bit. He's starting to wake up now, but we're running out of time.
Thanks, Steve.
Big right hook by Mchunu. Landed a couple solid left hands at the beginning of this round too, Kenny.
You got to quit worrying about boxing and get a little more aggressive and let it all out here in these last, well, now less than 2 rounds. 1:10 to go here in round 9.
Well, you remember in the fighter meetings yesterday when I looked at Durodola's trainer and I said, do you feel like you can stand in the middle of the ring and outbox Mchunu? And he said, you know, we got the reach, we got the size. Sometimes when you get in that ring, you find out it's a little more difficult than it seems.
I think he might have watched the tape, as I'm sure a lot of people did, against Eddie Chambers and Mchunu, and they thought, well, Eddie just wasn't bringing his best night.
Right.
But now we're Mchunu can dictate things, and even though it doesn't look that way, he can turn the fight his way and has once again tonight.
Yeah, he can, and this effort hasn't been as consistent as the Eddie Chambers effort, but, you know, he's got a bigger, more physical guy in front of him tonight, but he still boxed very smartly, and I'm sure the corner of Mchunu would like to see him apply a little more pressure. There's some things he can still improve on, but, I mean, he's very polished with the counterpunching, no question about that.
Durodola has been good the last 2 rounds.
Another big left hand.
But he can't make inroads in the counter-punching.
Another good right hook by Mchunu.
1 round to go in this NABF Cruiserweight title fight. Thabiso Mchunu, 13-1-0, 9 knockouts.
You never miss.
Sean Smith, his manager.
First round. How you feeling? Good. Good. 1 more round. That's it. Take a deep breath, son. Last round.
Touch gloves, remember.
Take a deep breath. Is it tough?
Last round, touch gloves. Yes, sir.
And now we go to Olanrewaju, Durodola's corner, and Steve Earls, his manager, trainer.
1-6-5-2. Okay. I don't care. You got to fight.
Uppercut.
Fight this time. Don't rush him. Step in behind the jab. 1-1-2. 1-1-6. Hook, hook, hook. That's it, Olan. This is it.
This is it.
And this is it.
This is the 10th and final round.
Final round. Durodola, the green. Mchunu in the white with the red.
And I think we can see some real action in this round because the corner of Durodola has really been pressing him to come forward. And throughout the rounds, whenever he's came forward too hard, he's been put in trouble, been hit by that left hand. So
Watch your hands, watch your hands, watch your hands. All right, let him go, let him go, let him go. It ain't
Referee David Fields separates him unofficially. Mchunu getting that last round according to our own Larry Hazard. So he's won all but 2 of the rounds unofficially. Had that knockdown, not a huge knockdown, as much as slip perhaps, but it did touch, and Durodola went down. That knockout down made it a 10-8 round back in the second.
yeah, it's going to make Durodola make it a little difficult for him to come back on the scorecard, obviously. But and you know, standing in the middle of the ring with Thabiso and Mchunu trying to outbox him is difficult with the hand speed. So Durodola's got to get in there. He's got to be careful not to get hit with that lead left hand coming in and dig the body, be rough with Mchunu.
Mchunu slips, no knockdown.
Was he, Kenny?
He was. You can see it. Like a pitcher overthrowing there a little bit, wasn't he? He was loading up and ready. And that's the way he likes to cock that left.
Let's go, let's go. Come on, man, last night.
It has to be foreboding for a fighter to try to walk in there and see that.
Big left hand by Mchunu again, but I like Durodola's temperament, you know. He's way down. He's trying to... He's showing the heart of a champion here by continuing to try to come forward and land a big shot. He's never given up on himself.
Remember, coming up after this, Stevens and Majewski. Curtis Stevens back in action now since he lost that title shot.
Good body shot by Durodola. You saw the corner. Steve Earle's asking for Durodola to shoot that 6 to the body. That's the right hook and digging it in like he just did. So good shot. And Mchunu's holding a little bit too much here, you know, trying to get through this final 10th round. Good shot by Mchunu. Left hand, right hook.
Mchunu will swing away in the corner. Duck under a potential punch by Durodola.
Both guys tired here, Kenny.
Durodola reaching out.
Big left hand again. And Durodola's shown just a tremendous beard. He's the ability to take those left hands by Mchunu. He's been hit clean by a lot of them.
Don't hit him. Yo, don't turn your back. Let's go, let's go.
Well, I'm a little surprised the referee didn't take more precaution. It was clear that Durodola hit him behind the head there. I'm a little surprised he didn't at least warn him for that.
30 seconds to go in a BF cruiserweight title fight. Thabiso Mchunu in the white with the red has been in control of this fight.
Come on, stop pushing.
Yeah, he's done a good effort, but I think his corner's going to go back. They're going to say, hey, you know, there's definitely some things we could have done better. But he's got a big, physical, tough, strong guy in front of him.
Right on the break. Let's go.
But to get out, to escape this type of fight with a win is, you know, very impressive and continue to move up in the WC ratings.
Olanrewaju Durodola comes in here, the taller fighter, the reach advantage of over 5 inches. But he wasn't able to do that against Mchunu tonight. Mchunu with great counter strikes throughout. And we would guess that he's going to get a unanimous. You never know. It is going to the judge. Expert Larry Hazard giving that round as well to Mchunu, who won 8 of the 10 rounds unofficially, including that big 10-8 round back in the second with the knockdown.
And, you know, Durodola fought. He really tried. He really came forward. He fought all 10 rounds. He showed a very, very game effort. But, you know, with that being said, I think I only gave him 1 round on my scorecard. You know, maybe 2, debatable, but, you know, possibly 1. And Mchunu's got some things that he can definitely do better, but he still controlled the action tonight, Kenny.
And he has a different style that's going to be tough for a lot of guys. Let's go back to round 2. And Mchunu and Durodola here, and this is the knockdown round.
And you can't see the feet right there, but Mchunu is actually on the lead left foot of Durodola there. There we got a good shot of it.
See, as much of a push with that left is a good clean shot, but it is one that caught him on the side and right there around the ear. It looked like, BJ.
It's kind of like in the
That'll
neck,
put you down.
the neck chest area, but whenever you're someone standing on your foot and you don't have a chance to move your feet with a shot, you can go down. See Thabiso Mchunu loading up with the left hand there, just kind of slippery in the corner sometimes, and just kind of lost his feet.
Oh, he wanted that, wasn't he, as he's pulling that left back. And then Durodola hits him in the back of the head.
Yeah, and that was, you know, just kind of a sign of frustration. Last round, 20 seconds left, and just putting it all out there.
Had to be a frustrating night for Durodola. And I'll bet a lot of guys that fight Mchunu will be saying things like that. Frustration. Aggravation. How do you get to this guy? The judges have reached their decision. Let's go to Joe with the verdict.
Boxing fans, after 10 rounds of action for the vacant NABF cruiserweight title, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Jon Stewart scores about 96-93. Judge Hilton Whitaker scores at 97-92. Judge Deborah Barnes scores at 98-91. All for your winner by unanimous decision and new cruiserweight champion, Thabiso "The Rock" Mchunu.
Thabiso Mchunu gets the belt of the NABF cruiserweight division. This his second fight in the U.S. An impressive showing against a former Olympian from Nigeria, Olanrewaju Durodola, who had some moments in the later stages of the fight, But even though he was the taller fighter with the longer reach, BJ just could not solve the riddle of the short, stocky, and strong Mchunu.
It's very tough. Thabiso Mchunu is very quick-handed, very fast reaction, very good speed. Durodola tried. He's got a great amateur pedigree, very tough, and he tried the whole fight, and you got to take your hat off to him. He put up a game effort tonight, Kenny.
And there you see Durodola losing for only the second time in his career. Let's go to Chris now with the winner.
Thabiso, second straight time we've seen you against a quality opponent here. Second straight time you've had what looked like a pretty easy win. How do you feel about the way you fought tonight?
I feel my performance wasn't that good as I expected. I think maybe I took him lightly, and he knew everything about me, so that's why it was much harder for me to land punches on him.
Second straight time you fought a taller opponent. You're very comfortable fighting tall opponents. Why?
Yeah, as I said, I'm used to it as a kid. I've been fighting taller opponents, and yeah, it was just another day for me. Just that my performance wasn't that great, because he knew everything about me. He's been watching me, so he knew I'm a good counter puncher, so he didn't want to commit most of the time. He was waiting for me to hit, then capitalize on my mistakes.
You're fast moving up the cruiserweight rankings. What do you want to do next?
Right now, I only want the green belts, man. Whoever got it is in trouble.
Thanks, Thabiso. Kenny?
All right, thanks, Chris. And Thabiso getting that belt. Nice trip over once again from South Africa for Mchunu. He's 2-0 now in the U.S., and there you see the judges' scorecards. 98-91, 97-92, 96-93. No surprises and a unanimous decision victory for the new NABF Cruiserweight champ.